Hello, and welcome to BeamNG.drive. In this video, or couple videos, I will be showing you how to get into rock crawling. I will be starting off with the different kinds of vehicles you could use and what I prefer. And then I will show how to build up your own vehicle, like this green D series here that I use. And as you can see, the mouse is messing up, so please ignore that. Anyways, to quickly start out, I recommend using the hopper crawler. It is vanilla in the game. It is preset and tuned perfectly for crawling, exactly how it should be for starting out. However, as you can see, I like to change my things. But it has a 3-link with panhard in the front, and a fully triangulated rear, coilovers, all of that nice stuff. I'll explain that in the actual tuning and whatnot. Now, if you're just starting out and just want to try crawling, this is what I recommend. But if you've got mods, maybe go into something like this. It's a bouncer. I believe it's called the Brawler. It has the suspension from the hopper, but it's just a tube buggy for crawling and bouncing up hills and stuff. This has 4-wheel steer and whatnot, which I will cover in the actual crawling video. But for now, let's work on a truck. So, what I like to do is take the D series, because I find it to be the most, I can't think of the word right now, but it has the most options to it, the most versatile. You can have it a daily truck, you can make it into a rock crawler, you can do whatever you want with it. I've got a Baja version too that's not with it. But what I did is I took the normal D15, I put the heavy duty short chassis on it, so it's stronger, but as you can see, even with the bigger wheels on it, it is ever so slightly shorter. If you look right here in the side of the bed, it's much shorter. That just helps with your approach angles, departure angles, and all that. I can explain it after. But for now, how did I make my crawler? And how would I recommend you do yours? Sorry if you can hear that shifting, I'm in a leather chair. But anyways, side number buttons. What I did was I took the normal D15, I put the 3-link in the front and back with the off-road coilovers. Oops, no. I put the off-road coilovers in it with a V8, I think it's a 5.5, long links, the off-road coilovers in the back, roll cage, just basically race setup, while trying to be light and strong. And then 2 boxes and antenna just for... It's a crawler that I take inputs, so you gotta communicate with your friends. Lights to see, snorkel for water. I'll explain all this as we go. But actually making your vehicle. Go into your settings for all that. My anxiety is starting to get the best of me, so just kind of deal with me. Basically you want it as light and strong as possible without overdoing it. So, as I said, short, kind of narrow. This is a little tall for my liking, but I'll explain that in a minute. I have the inline 6 actually in this, and I think it's mostly stock. Yeah, it's mostly stock because you want low-end control. I find in this game, as you upgrade the engine, especially once you put the engine management in it, throttle control becomes a lot harder. You touch the throttle and it revs a lot sooner, which I don't like. So I use a smaller engine, minimal upgrades. You're using a crawling gear anyways, which is built for torque. So you don't need your engine to be providing all the torque. As I said, off-road coilovers, no sway bar, so it can flex more. Second. What the sway bar does is it goes across your vehicle left to right, and it connects, we'll say it connects the left wheel to the right wheel. So if the left wheel goes up, the right wheel goes up. Left one goes down, it goes down. It is to prevent body roll. So as you go around a corner, say you're going left, you feel that you're being pushed into the right side of your seat, and the body of the vehicle will roll to the right. The sway bars help this, but in off-roading, especially crawling, you don't want this. You want as much flex as possible. I use the locking diffs because they don't have limited slip locking diffs. So the locking differential, because then if you're on the ground or something like this, normal, flat, or even just going up there, you want them open so that you can still turn and whatnot properly. I'm using the 444:1 gear ratio so that I can have lots of torque, but still have a decent speed for getting from path to path and so on. What that means is, I'm just going to change the camera really quick. So what that means is, right here in the differential, this thing, the drive shaft is going to turn 4.44 times for every one rotation of the wheel. So a 310:1 would be 3.1 times of the drive shaft to one of the wheel. Basically, the higher the number, the more torque. Bigger wheels you have, the bigger tires, the bigger obstacles you will be able to climb over. But with that said, the more torque you will need, and the taller you'll be, and the harder it's going to be. I find 36 to 40 to be my sweet spot for crawling tires. I don't know why, but that's what works best for me. So then what you do is go, words not working. What you would do is go to your hubs. I usually use the 6. I find the 8 lug to be overkill for this. And I find the 5 to not be quite enough, and it doesn't usually have the rims I like. So I use the 6 lug, front spindles, off-road premium rims. Now, the important part is the tires. The 38x12 R17 crawler front tires aren't bad. I usually use these crawler tires, which come on the hopper crawler, but these are bigger for this. Those ones don't come in 38s, these are 38s. So 38-inch crawler tires, 17-inch rim, I think. Power steering. And then the back is the same as the front, but the back. Now, the important part is tuning. Funny enough, I learned how to tune this way on San Andreas, making mods for it. I would take the monster truck, usually the big blue one, the extended cab one, and I would lower it a bit, make the suspension really squishy so it would be good for off-roading and crawling. So that's what I did in that with it. So I took that idea and put it into this. For the suspension, to get as much flex as I could, it's not letting me do it with this open. To get as much flex as I could, I made the spring height as long as I could make it. Therefore, it's just going to push the wheel down as far as possible. I then used the spring rate to get the ride height that I wanted and lower the body back down. This allows it to not be riding on the wheels, have a decent ride height, but also be nice and squishy. And then you can choose how squishy you want from there and change your ride height with the springs from there. But that's just how I do it. And then the shocks, basically bump dampening and fast bump dampening. You don't really need to worry about the shocks with this too much. Maybe make them a bit stiffer. I'm gonna go up by 5 just because. And this will just make the shocks stiffer. So as the wheels move, it'll just be a bit harder for them to move. And then, like, with jumping and stuff, it works. It's not really needed right now. As I said before, you want your links to be as long as possible, basically. Because as your suspension cycles, goes up and down, it'll also go front to back. So the shorter the length, the more it'll go front to back. I'll show that in a second. Tire pressure you want nice and low too, so the tire can bend and form around the rocks for more traction. So, as you can, or as I'll now show, why is this not working still? It's not letting me grab the nodes really well, but if I grab a node, try and grab this one, and lift it up, you can see how the wheels kind of go towards the middle and then back to the front a little bit. And you can see how much body roll there is, all of that. That's just from the tuning. But the long links, as you can see, the longer the link, the less your wheelbase will change. And then from using straight axles, you won't have issues with the track width. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully you get a vehicle that will suit you more for crawling. And as you go through and play with everything, you'll find what works best for you. But I'm jumbling on my words and stuff now, so any questions, feel free to ask, but basically just take what I've said and change it little bits to what suits you. And then we'll move on to the next one, where I actually show how to start crawling and picking your lines and whatnot.